Gentlemen, who's ready for Halloween?
I am.
Is Halloween anytime soon?
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow.
He's not really into Halloween. Yeah.
I know.
Just one of those days.
I know, you're not really into it. For folks new to Charlotte, you're in for a treat. Come tomorrow on the broadcast. Because tomorrow is Halloween, which means we're talking about all things scary. And while we may not always think about it, weather can be scary. If you've ever been scared of certain weather, like, say, a thunderstorm, you're not alone. But there are several other weather-related phobias you've probably not even heard of. Chris breaks it down in this scary Halloween edition of Weather IQ.
The weather can be scary. And some people have documented phobias pertaining to a wide range of weather phenomena. So in the spirit of Halloween, here are 13 weather phobias you may not know existed. For the best information, we reached out to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Susan Albers. First, a phobia is defined as...
A phobia is an extreme and irrational fear of something that causes great distress.
Antlophobia, the fear of flooding. Flooding is one of the most deadly weather events, and rapidly moving water is terrifying. This phobia often develops from a past traumatic flood experience. And more specifically, ombrophobia is the fear of rain and the flooding it can bring. Lapsophobia, fear of tornadoes and hurricanes. Who wouldn't be afraid of the most powerful weather phenomenon on Earth? But for some, the fear of these disastrous storms can be crippling.
Some signs include panic attacks, difficulty sleeping, obsessively watching the weather report, or refusing to go outside.
The most common of all the phobias is astrophobia, the fear of thunder and lightning. This is most common for children, but it can last into adulthood, and it also affects animals. There's also a rare pluviaphobia, the fear of weather related to rain, more specifically thunderstorms. Anchrophobia, fear of wind or high winds. This fear is rare, but more than half of us have documented that they feared high winds at one point in their lives. Some other less common but real fears. Thermophobia, fear of heat. Cryophobia, fear of cold, ice, or frost. Chinophobia, fear of snow. Like many of these phobias, it doesn't mean that you fear snowflakes, but rather fear the hazards that snow can bring. Now, these are the rarest weather phobias. Nephophobia, fear of clouds. Hemiclophobia, fear of fog. Iridophobia, fear of rainbows. And heliophobia is the fear of the sun. With WCNC Charlotte, I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Scary stuff.
Those last ones are very, very rare, by the way.
The names get me. Some of the names are, I mean...
Yeah, you have to explain to me. I mean, I get some of the other ones, like floods and thunderstorms and things like that. I would like to know how one gets a fear of rainbows.
So I actually, since we last talked about this on our show, tried to find somebody that had it.
Yeah.
They're very obscure. That kind of is in the same level of being fearful of balloons. But a lot of children sometimes are fearful that it's touching the ground. And the stem also comes with their fear of leprechauns, because there's leprechauns at the end of the rainbow. So some of these may be irrational. That's why we wanted to mention all of them. The other ones, as astrophobia and things like that, fear of thunder and lightning.
Can you remember all the names?
Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
impossible.
No. See, that's the thing. A lot of times with these weather IQs, it's off the top of the noggin here, but those ones right there, I had to practice and rehearse some of the names.
I mean,
and look it up.
Of course, we don't want to minimize anybody's phobia. It's just surprising that some of them are so obscure. Before we leave, a bit of a preview of what's coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow for trick-or-treaters, there should be no fear at all of trick-or-treating. Check it out in the 70s. Prime time between about 5 and 7. We stay in the 70s from 78 at 5 o'clock to about 72 at 7 p.m. So they have to put an overcoat on or a sweater or a jacket. They're just perfect.
Perfect. And for folks who've never watched our broadcast on Halloween, what would you tell them, Larry?
I would say tune in, especially starting at 5 o'clock, because there's a bus that's coming in from some points unknown.
Some parts unknown.
With a group of people on it who are a little bit on
They've been coming for decades.
Crazy side. This is our 26th annual.
Wow.
26?
26.
I mean, where did you meet all these characters?
They just one day appeared in my mind.
In your minds?
And they somehow evolved into people that are here, there, and everywhere in the studio. So we'll see what happens.
All right, looking forward to it.
It's still evolving.
Hopefully you don't have bozophobia.
That's right. That would be a bad thing.
I think I may have that, yes.
All right, folks, we'll see you tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 a.m. over on WCNC Charlotte.